I had to learn from movies, like I said.
Yeah.
I knew where I wanted to go, so I was watching particular movies that would teach me how to do certain things. I knew the circle I wanted to hang around with, so you sitting down with elite folks and then you want to hold, like, no,
Yeah.
I learned.
This is just an everyday Faith Morey look.
Faith Morey likes to look homeless when she's home, but if she goes out, she likes to be put together. This less extra
Less
Faith
extra.
Morey. Yeah.
I like how you say less extra because we watched the Real Housewives and you have
Yeah.
extra.
Yeah, and
It's-
then the pool picture you saw was in the pool with the long gold dress. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
I know.
You give serious strong Taurus energy.
Hmm.
Like I know you're Taurus. I did my homework.
Yeah. Well, okay.
I did my homework. I know you're Taurus. You embody the zodiac sign. I don't know. You do believe in zodiac signs?
No, I don't.
Oh well. Tauruses typically beauty, wealth. They radiate. That energy, class.
Thank you.
And I think you body that very well. Because when I was reading, I was like, I don't know you,
Yeah.
but based on what I have seen,
Yeah.
you body it to the T.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very unapologetic about being an Aquarius girl.
Oh yes.
Growing up I grew up a little bit in the Aquarius community as well. In
Oh
Port
okay.
Harcourt.
Oh.
LLO specifically. I don't know.
LLO.
Yeah.
Yes, LLO is close to Uniport TST.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Uniport, not UST.
Yeah. So I grew up around there. So I see a lot of reasons why you should be proud of that. So
Yes.
why do you think being an Aquarius girl morphs has created the Faith Morey we see here today?
Well, one of the reasons why I decided to join the Real Housewife was to be able to tell my story.
Yeah.
In as much as it's a great platform. You're sitting out here and interviewing me because I was on the show. A lot of deals I've gotten in was because I was on the show. But I felt like people like me were not represented enough on TV. Folks from humble beginning. I always talked about coming out from deal. Folks who think that their environment it mean their future. So my first half of my life was in Aquarius in deal, and it was. When I mean humble beginning, I mean really humble beginning,
yeah.
where I didn't have anything apart from the love from my family and support system. But in Aquarius land, before now, I think we're now beginning to leave and travel. People would have kids there, marry there, go to school there. We got stuck everything there. So I think at that time when I came out, I was one of the few people that were able to see how we can actually leave the community and be a better person and come back to our community if we need to. I have gone back to Port Harcourt. I'm doing great things with a couple of the schools there alone for now, and we're full of love. And a lot of times people see pretty girls, they just put us as a dumb blonde.
Yeah.
I wanted people to see that you can be pretty and still have substance and still have the table, something to bring on the table. You can't be from a humble beginning and you blow out to be very successful, but don't forget where you're coming from. You hear a lot of stories. Folks I know were from humble beginning just like me. When you ask them, what your story is, they don't want to be associated with that. They come up with, my mom is a diplomat, my dad is this, that. No, it's okay for you to say, hey, I did not have, but I am able to have now. I always tell people to say, I wasn't born with a spoon, but I can eat with a diamond spoon right now because I made that way for myself. So yeah.
All right. So talking about humble beginnings, I wanted to know what it's like, what was growing up like with Faith Morey? Because in a lot of interviews you have said this several times, something you don't hide at all, like you've already said. So what was it like? How humble was your beginning, so to say?
Okay, well, I was born in Lagos. My dad lived in Lagos, and my mom and dad separated when I was 7 years old. So we had to go back to my mom's family, which lived in Job. Now, when I mean humble beginning, my grandma had 12 kids, and yes, so you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms with 12 aunties and uncles with their friends, and then the 4 of us. I have 3 siblings who are 4. So I haven't said this story yet on the camera, but I've said it among my friends. I remember vividly. I knew how humble it was when we were around 15 and we asked our parents we wanted roll-on, and my grandma asked, "Why the hell do you want roll-on?" And she later blushed, but then what she did was she bought one roll-on for boys and one for girls.
Oh my God. I mean, hygiene is hygiene.
Hi, Samuel. Thank you.
Hi.
Yes, please. Do you want water?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna keep this glass. She doesn't need it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, you can continue. So one roll-on for the guys.
One for girls. And my mom till today doesn't shy away from also telling us, how low they were when they were growing up. My grandma was a teacher in Sangana for over 30 years. So from Monday through Friday, she'll wake up 4 a.m. in the morning. She had a store in the market, my one market. We'll sell, and then by, let's say, 8, 9, she comes back, take a shower. She goes as a teacher, comes back. Every Friday, she had to go to the village to get gari, all this tomato stuff, to sell in front of the house. So it is humble.
Very humble.
Very humble. Yeah.
But I mean, despite the fact that it was humble, she still made sure she got roll-on. So that's...
Oh, yes. We never lacked when it comes to meal. So I feel like if you don't go to bed hungry, you're fine.
You're good. Yeah.
And it did teach me how to manage and how to be humble till today.
Mm-hmm.
When I go out, people expect a certain faith. And when they get to meet me, it's like, oh, I thought you were going to be bitchy, you're going to be this. I said, no, because my mom still reminds me, don't forget where you're from. After you go 23.
I like the way you're pigeon. Never forget where you're from.
No, I can speak Port Harcourt. No. Pidgin English and PH is different.
I know.
Yeah.
So you always speak about your grandma.
Yes.
You just did. I online doing my homework, I see you talk more about your grandma. Your grandma seems to have a lot of influence over your foundation is named after your grandma. And what I don't know how to put it, like, why does she have so much influence over you?
Well, my mom left when she had to travel for a greener pasture for us when we were 8, and my grandma practically raised us. So the religious part of us, which I don't think my grandma. Okay, I'm covered a little bit. I'm covered now. Yeah, but wherever she is, she'll be rolling. I have like tattoos on my hands and stuff like that. But I would call her my foster mom. I know my mom loves us, but she had to work hard to send money back home for us to be taken care of. We went to one of the best schools, Bariton, not Story, which was for like huge politicians' kids. We went to McDonald and went to Emory. Those are like kids where politicians, it was just that when during visiting days, other will get, provision, we will get chicken with those little legs. But we had someone to visit us, and that was my grandma. She would take Okada ride from my one to Ugruta, which is almost like 45 minutes.
That's a long distance.
Yes, it is.
I know that's a long distance.
So I am who I am today because of her. So I will forever be grateful for her. And like I said, I always talk about her because I know there are a lot of people that are like me. But if you ask some of folks, I'm not going to mention names, they would go, oh, my mom is dead. Their mom is not dead. They don't just want to be associated with the humble beginning. And we just started a documentary going back to Port Harcourt, where I'm from. And I guess when people see that, people will understand why I mention over and over again, because I don't want any girl like me to think it's not okay. It's okay to be born wherever you're born. Wherever you die, it's your problem.
I feel there's a pulpit right now you're preaching.
No, I'm just saying, but that's it.
It's your truth. Yeah.
You can't decide which family you're born into or what environment, but you can decide where you die, And I'm sorry, like, I like luxury.
So where did the taste for luxury come from then? So where was the turning point
for me?
Yeah.
Movies. And I always tell my son and I, we have scheduled shows we watch because I believe movie played a huge part for me as my foundation, wanting more than I could get, because all I saw was people were okay with where they are. And when we went back a couple of days ago to Port Harcourt, people are still okay
With where they are.
But we were watching movies. We didn't have TV. By the way, that's how humble we were. But we had to watch TV from our neighbor's window. And every Sunday then you will watch Indian movies. You watch Telemundo, something you're not supposed to, but you sing. And I watched this movie called P.S. I Love You. And
probably go watch it.
I fell in love with it because I was like, there's a place where there's light,
Constant
light. And then I watched another movie about it was Times Square, and I was like, Nipa. Yeah, it was that bad. It was that bad. And also the school my mom, sent us to, had these kids that, when people are talking about Tales by Moonlight, these kids, stubborn ones that have forgotten where they're from, their parents will bring them down to Nigeria, and they would tell us about, New York, LA, Texas, how things are, and and what we don't have, and what, and I was like, tell me more. Like, I was like, I want to go.
Hungry for this.
I wanted to go there. And I did.
I mean, your success story, it should feel some type of way discussing this type of topics, because you've lived that life and you're here, and it's really, really nice. So movies played an important role in you wanting it, like desiring a new life, a life beyond what you see. And I think I sort of relate to that too, because I can't say I had a humble beginning because I'm still very much beginning. You get what I mean? But a lot of times I get inspired is when I watch things on TV and I'm like, I want that. You understand? And
I like that.
In the process of getting there.
Yes,
hey.
I like that.
All right. So let's talk career.
Okay.
Yeah. You wanted to be an actress. I saw in an interview you said that you did one of those Nollywood movies where you go into a bush, shoot for 3 months, and you don't see the movie.
Yes.
How was that? Have you met any of your co-stars from then now?
When we shot my Welcome Back to Port Harcourt, I don't know if you saw it, and River State, thank you, Port Harcourt, arranged the whole Welcome Back for Faith. We had a friend that was telling my manager was like trying to get her away, and she was like, I know her. And I was like, oh my God, her name is also Faith. And I screamed, I was like, Faith, and she started telling them, she was like, so do you remember where we have to stay in this place where mosquito, you literally staying outside, roles they'll give to you, movies that never get it to, TV, whatever, So yes, I always wanted to be out there. I'm not gonna lie and say, oh, I was shy away. Honey, no. I wanted to get out from where I was from. And one of the things I did in the beginning was playing basketball. But as at that time, basketball wasn't, yes, I played basketball for the River State junior team. Yeah, I still do.
No shade, but I'm like, you're very dainty for basketball.
No. I used to be a tomboy. I'll show you a picture of me before and after. Yes. And a lot of my friends have this when they see me. Trust me.
I'm very glad.
I'm very glad. I used to be those girls that would sag their trousers. I wear size 11, so I never have my shoe sizes. So I always have to wear like guys. 11. Yes, I have to wear guys like sneakers from my uncles. I tie bandanas, play basketball with boys.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm serious. Like I play basketball in UST. We stopped playing basketball in UST when the whole militancy started, Queen of Jezebel, they were trying to initiate people. But yeah, I played basketball. I still play with my brother once in a while. Yeah.
That's actually interesting because you're very girly.
Yeah, I know.
Very girly, even on the show. You would pick your glasses one way. You have a very particular way of doing your things that very, very girly, very ladylike. Let me say
but I said it on the show. Yeah. It was self-taught. Yeah, it wasn't something I was born into or I was raised into. But I always tell people, Kevin had even said it, he said, the reason I'm successful is because I was ready. When the opportunity came, he was ready. I had to learn from movies, like I said. I knew where I wanted to go, so I was watching particular movies that would teach me how to do certain things. I knew the circle I wanted to hang around with. So you're sitting down with elite folks and then you want to hold, I learn, and I'm not, shy to ask questions to my mentor in the US. She's a Korean lady from a very big one of those elite families, and she makes it a point each time, teas, breakfast, lunch, stuff like that.
You're like groomed.
Yes, I was. And I started on the show. I don't know if you made it out there too. Before now, you have to take etiquette class. My son Ethan, Morey. I know because I tired of hearing.
There's a lot of you in life.
Oh my God, you got me to smile.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get to Ethan.
He's actually in an etiquette class too. How to behave even as a gentleman, how to talk, what to say, how to address people, how to go on a date with a lady. I think those are fundamental stuff that we have to teach our kids. And you don't have to go for classes for it. You can go on YouTube now. Social media, everything. We have everything on social media, and I utilized it, and
here you are,
yes.
epitome of class.
Thank you.
So let's talk motherhood, because we already touched that a little bit, and I feel like you're already smiling.
Yes, that's my strong point.
It's one of the best things to happen to you. You've said it many times, and I've seen Ethan. I've seen you prior to today. Up close. I didn't say hi, of course.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it comes with the job, right?
Okay.
So Ethan is very well behaved.
Yeah.
He seems like a very happy child.
Yeah.
And being a boy mom, because if you ask my mom when it was like training me, she would not tell you any nice thing. So you seem to be having an easy run with Ethan. Is Ethan just like the miracle boy child, or you molded Ethan that way?
Okay. A friend of mine sent me a message a couple of days and said, Faith, it's so unfair for you to make motherhood looks very effortless. There is always, come on, Mom, one thing I always do, I'm very transparent as a mom. I'm not those moms that will tell their kid, I click fast. Darling, I used to carry 8 to last until my secondary school. Then I knew that I had to put much effort into, my...
Primary school doesn't count.
Yeah, it does count though, because then you don't have opportunity to watch TV, you don't have cookies, you don't go to the parties. Yeah, those were motivations for us to do better. I think parenthood or being a mom, it's different for every child. I was especially for my own kid. I think Ethan was gifted to me. Yeah. And because Ethan is a carbon copy of me, I know how to handle it. Yes. He's very stubborn. He's very opinionated. He knows what he wants. And that was me as a kid. So because I can see me in him, it's easy for me to navigate. And I'm a mom that would, even if I spank him or, correct him.
Spank him?
Oh, God, my son would tell you, Ethan, he tells his Caucasian friend, you do that to your mom? Oh, you don't have an African mom.
Well, that's a different...
Yeah. But I don't anymore at this age because, then, when he was much younger, you gave him that, or you do naughty corners or no electronics or less TV. Those are more motivating than actually spanking them.
True.
Because I got immune to spanking at the age of 15.
Tell my mom, at some point the kid stopped working.
Yes,
I would still do it. It's not fun.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to look for more innovative way for me to raise Ethan. And as a kid growing up too, I made sure he was around what I was not around or privy to. Things like we do ice cream days.
Aww.
We go for movies together. We listen to books together. I read him to bed. When we're driving, instead of the whole crazy music, we listen to books together.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My friends in the US will tell you we're a boring pair because
not in public though.
What do you mean?
Like outside, I see you're not boring. That's my point.
Oh no, I'm not a boring person, but I'm boring because they're not used to that. So that's easy because I know what Ethan likes, what I like, and we talk about things.
Yeah.
If Ethan was here, he would be talking about, Mom, what do you think about the political influence? Yeah. When someone asks me a question, I say, hold on, my son will know. After he's working with Wikipedia, first of all.
Okay.
Yes, he's very smart like that. So when you see us outside, because of how we are inside, it's easy for it to translate to outside. I know when my son is uncomfortable, he's also shy like me.
Aww.
So when people meet him for the first time, they're expecting this,
Bubbly
bubbling
person.
kid. And first thing he does is I just hold him and I say, babe, put your hand in your pocket, because you could tell he gets thick when he's kind of uncomfortable. And then you always see me half the time, I'm close to his face like this. I'm going, look at mama, you're exactly like mama. Mama likes staying home, but we're outside. You have to be nice, And then
so like soft parenting, that's what you
well,
do.
I go both ways.
Yeah.
Remember, we go both ways. Yeah.
When you said Aquarius, I know what you're talking about. If you know, basically.
Right.
So let's talk about marriage.
Okay.
What was marriage like for Faith Morey? Sips, drink.
Water.
What? What's marriage like?
It was good when it was good. I think a lot of people were shocked when they found that I've been divorced for over 8 years, because my marriage was a public marriage when I was in Nigeria. And I never did shy away from, showing my family life, my kid, my ex-husband at that time. So I would say the same thing. I'm forever grateful for him, because he did put me in a place where I am now, from the beginning of my foundation, and I dreamt bigger, and, it just grew from there. But he was a loving husband at the time. He's a great dad. I always tell people, people come into your life for a certain period of time, and the only time you have problem is when you're trying to hold them back longer than God has told you to hold them back.
Pastor preach.
Well, my mom, so we're in a great place. We talk. I think my son said it on the show too. If he talks to his dad every other day, and he's like, hey, Faith, you remember this person? And we talk, we laugh, we're not just married romantically in love, but I do love him. And I think if you love someone, you never stop loving them.
Sure.
So it was a great run, but it was a great run. But for now, I'm a single girl, so.
So now that you're a single girl, is there, should we be expecting,
this single girl has been single for 8 years. So
something can change tomorrow.
Well, yes. So one of the things you guys are not privy to seeing was the ladies were like, why don't you want to get married? We never got to see that part. And I said, when I got married, I was very young. I was 19 going to 20.
Oh.
Yes. And I had school then, I was a stay-at-home mom, hands-on mom. I guess that's another thing. I had the time to, cut out for my kid. So when I was leaving, it was very painful for me, because I had to start life all over again.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, I'm going to build for myself and my son that if anyone comes, they see the standard of our life. It's either you can match it or you leave. Do you understand? So when people say, what are you bringing to the table? Honey, I have a table.
Yes,
what are you adding to that table? Yeah. So I think right now I'm in a position where, I can settle down, but I've not shied away from dating. I've dated here and there, but yeah.
You're very open. Because I've had my fair share of interviews. When we get to the relationship, it was like, pageant answers.
Oh, no.
God will do it for us. Philosophical answers.
He would do it, but come on, you're asking how my marriage was and what it is for me now. And I'm hoping that God sends the right person, because it's one thing for you to find someone that will love you, but you need someone that will love you and love your kid.
Yeah.
And as a single mom, I'm sure single moms out there would actually reason, with me, it is very difficult for someone to love you and love the kid. In the beginning, they would do it. And later on, it's like, well, I want only you. I always tell people, it's a package deal. Buy one, get one free. You're buying me, you're getting my kid. But
right. So what is co-parenting like with your ex-husband? How's he?
I'm trying not to lie. I'm going to be as straight as possible. We have our ups and downs. But my major, goal is to raise a happy kid. And he does have the both of us. He's presently married also and has kids. So of course he's going to juggle the both with work. But it's fine. I would say it's fine half the time. I won't complain, because when he gets mad, I always tell people, someone telling me or getting mad at me, one thing is how I react. you're getting mad at me and I'm drinking my wine. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, we have seen that several times.
So I'm like,
We
okay,
have
you
seen
done?
that.
All right, fine. So how are we going to raise our kid now?
Oh.
You know, because my son sees this. And that was one of the reasons why I made sure when I left, I wanted him to see that, you know, this is a way a man should treat a lady.
Yeah.
You know, I have to leave an exemplary life. And sometimes when I'll text him and say, hey, can you call your son? Because if you don't, you're going to get the query side of faith. And, you know, he calls. So it's a good one. I would say it's a good one. We have ups and downs, but in general.
The query side of faith, I really, really, really want to see it because you are very prim, proper, perfect. Don't stain my white type of person.
Yes, honey.
I would like to see the query side.
That's not a good side of me, though. I feel like
has it ever jumped up before?
It does. It has. And that's one of the reasons when I had Ethan.
Yeah.
I think Ethan changed. I know Ethan changed my life because even when I was married, you know, I'm those type, my close friends would tell you, a man is telling you, are you crazy? Like, no, don't tell me what to do. Sure. You know, but having my son did humble me. Mm-hmm. And I said, nobody's watched me wearing an orange jumpsuit. Oh. Nobody's what me.
Think about it. Or it's not just an orange jumpsuit.
Going to jail. Yeah. So I get upset. Come on. I do get upset. Yeah, but upset enough where it gets to like physical, not yet. In 30 years, I was saying, because you had to fight. Yeah. As a kid growing up. So I did wrestle and I fight with guys. I wish my uncle is here to tell you, Uncle Choma, when we were shooting a documentary in Port Harcourt and we had to go home and he was telling, you know, the person in the camera said, both of us used to fight guys. Yeah, that's how bad it was. But that's where we were coming from. Yeah. But I feel like as a lady, that's not a good, you know, presentation of who a lady should be. And when you end up fighting, one person might die. You go to jail. You will see incidents where, you know, one person hits just one blow.
Yeah, like.
And then that's it.
The end. I've seen that.
What I always tell myself is, you're already dead somewhere. You want me to push you? Not today, honey. Not today, Satan, you know. Today. So I try not to. I've gotten upset. I got upset a couple of weeks ago, when we went to Port Harcourt, did the whole thing, and the person that did the filming could not deliver. Oh. And that was like months of work and preparation. I got really upset, but what I tell is like, you know what? I'm going to cut this call right now, you know, so I don't say things I will regret and I cannot take back. So, yeah.
You're very prim proper. No. Very prim proper. Because me, I know, like, I would lose. I try to be prim myself, but the Surulere, man, the Surulere in me would jump out. You understand? So let's talk Real Housewives. Because I feel like a lot of people want to hear what Faith Morey has to say about the Real Housewives of Lagos.
Okay.
First, why the Real Housewives of Lagos? Because your life was amazing prior to the Real Housewives. Yeah. So why come out? Because reality TV is very scary. Because the moment you live your life in front of people, especially Nigerians, they feel that they have the right to comment on even if you're outside the show. They feel like they want to follow you, comment on the things, your actions and inactions. Why did you decide to enter those waters?
Okay. While I was in Nigeria married, I was a supermodel before I traveled. So my life was already out there.
Just do it already.
Yeah. But when I got divorced, I didn't want that part of me out. 1, 2, I was finding who Faith is. Not Faith the sister, not Faith the wife, not Faith the mom, Faith Morey as a person. And I felt like at that point, like before Housewife, 5 years ago, I've gotten to know who I was, that if someone tells me I'm crazy and I know I'm not crazy, I'm not going to fight you for telling me I'm crazy. Or like you saw on the show, Faith is fake. I didn't have to argue because I already knew who I was.
I'll argue.
Yeah. No, well, you don't see, that's the
thing.
It
will get you nowhere.
It will get you nowhere. So it's like, you know, seeing you grew up in Port Harcourt, there's a lot of crazy people on the street, like, you know, so a mad man tell you,
mad people
on the street, and then you see a mad person tell you you're mad, and then you start telling them. So people passing, what's the difference between you and the mad person? No, you're not going to take me down there. That's where you belong, in a mud, not Faith Morey. Yeah. You know, so why I decided to go out there is I felt like I have gotten to a point where I was comfortable sharing my story. I didn't didn't have to hide anything. I didn't have to, be ashamed of where I was coming from. My son was a big part of my agreeing to join also because he had to be comfortable with it. So even in the UK and in the US, he gets people like, I saw you on the show. I know, at airport and stuff like that. So social media put us out there, but the show actually put us in a position where I know I cannot go anywhere without people knowing who I was. But like I said earlier, the reason I went on the show was the platform. My business is thriving now because of the Real Housewives of Lagos. I think I can say comfortably that I've transformed a lot of ladies' life, in one way or the other, because I get to hear people talk about, hey, thank you. Because of you, I have learned how to, be humble. I've learned how to not react. I've learned how to love my kid in a certain way. I have learned how to be emotionally intelligent, which is, trust me, that is better than going to school.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence. You can be educated, but be stupid at the same time, So, I was ready, and I think I did a great job. One of my team members said, Tate, you're the first non-toxic housewife.
I'm getting there. Do you know what I mean? Because typically, the people that end up being famous from reality TV shows, especially in the Real Housewives platform, is typically you either have to be crazy, you have to be very mean, or very dramatic. You can see the Nene Leakes, the Portias, you understand? People that end up being popular. I think it's good to say that I can say that you're the star of this season. Because every episode I check Twitter, Faith Morey is trending.
And I have a lot of the housewife from other franchise reach out to me. Hey, Faith, I have one, JoJo. She's one of my favorite, Real Housewife of Dub. And she was like, Faith, people don't understand what it takes for you to be that put together, but because I was able to watch you, it has given me peace, so I follow Dub and now because of JoJo. And I say, hey, JoJo, great job. And she's like, Faith, I lost it. I said, that's okay. It doesn't happen overnight. This is the years of me working on myself to get to that point. Not just in Nigeria, I have love in South Africa, UK,
She's global.
So it's the Real Housewives franchise. But again, it's the message, online, you always have people who throw people as the folks that are out there. I thought going on the Real Housewives that we were just 1% of us out there. And I was like, if those 1% folks watch me and they know that we are, it's okay to be who you are. And, it's okay for you to be unapologetic. It's okay for you to tell your story, even if it's started as humble beginning. It's okay for you to walk away from a friendship. It's okay for you to take friendship or family as a priority for you. But then, we ended up capturing folks that used to be toxic now and go, I used to be like this and I don't like it. I feel like people respect you more when you're mean and rude, And I always tell people, I said, if I have to be mean to you for you to respect me, I will walk away. You're not going to put me, like I said, that's not my family value. That's not how I was raised. So it's not for me. And you saw on the show, I walked away from a lot of stuff that, doesn't serve me right.
Dramatically, I think that you don't just walk away. You don't just actually walk away. You walk dramatically. You are very poised.
Amazon guy.
Yeah. You're like, I feel like I would call you a glamazon. Like a glamorous Amazon. Glamazon.
Now you're giving us a new name.
Glamazon. You're very stanty. I walked in and it was like, the producer was like, oh, make sure you go do pleasantries first. And when you came in and you were seated, I was like, okay. Then you said, I was like, whoa.
She's tall.
I think I said that, you're really tall. And model, everything worked. So back to the Real Housewives. What do you think? How do you want to sum up this past season? Because you were in the center of a lot of conversations, both positive, both
negative.
Things that I would call negative as well. So what would you sum up as your
experience?
The experience.
Exactly. It was a colorful experience in a way where it made me realize that Faith, you got it. Like I said, I worked on myself for 7 years before I came on the franchise. And you never know how, strong or if you've passed through certain things until that problem comes to you, or you're faced with, arguments and fight, then you know that, okay, Faith, you've gotten to your I'm not bothered phase, or nobody's going to that phase. So I would say, first of all, the Real Housewife is not just the wives. It's the cameramen, the light guys. You have over 50 people behind the camera working.
Damn.
And yes, every day for 10 to 15 hours. Yes. So, they made it very enjoyable for me because when I work in, I know, Yinka, Shiu, so I might be angry, already coming in and waiting for 2-3 hours for the other housewife. But when I see the light guy that has to hold the lights, and I'm like, Shiu, I had alpha, like, mama,
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to find the positive where I was working with the team. I mean, I also made great friends. I made, met properly Laura on the show, which it developed to be this good friendship that, we are collaborating with Morey Collection and, Laura Beauty. Shout out to Laura. Today is her birthday, first of all.
Happy birthday, Laura.
Yeah. And then, Tiana, which most of the cast were saying we will meet, but they were expecting us to clash and it didn't work out that way.
I did expect you guys to clash.
Yes, because that's the thing about reality show. People don't understand. People will say, "Oh my God, I like Faith. It is my friend." No. They want to say that because they want to trigger the other person to say something. So a lot of them saying that thought because Tiana has her own style. I also have my own style. They were thinking it was going to be a competition between the both of us, but it wasn't. And I love Tiana because Tiana is unapologetic. That's what I like, And Tiana would tell you, her kids, and she's like, let the boys have play dates. I need my son to learn. So
during your birthday party, I saw that.
So Tiana is someone that, I see this good thing. Yes, it's not what I'm used to, but I want this. Faith, please, can you teach me? It takes a lot of God's humbleness to take your ego, put it down one place and ask for that. So that's the reason why you saw Tiana. A lot of the time, she wasn't violent like that this season. She tried.
Oh, you admit she's violent?
No. I would say she is very confrontational.
Yes, she believes she'll say her mind whenever.
Yes, but she did learn more to, when someone is triggering you, they expect certain reaction. So I was like, hey, babe, it's not worth it. And she's like, I say, honey, not worth it, honey.
Okay. So, about the fake, a lot of conversations were like, oh, faith is fake. And one of the things were like, you don't know how to speak your native language. And a lot of people were like, nah, she's trying to be, she's whitewashed. She has gone abroad and she has forgotten her roots, yada, 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 yada. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you've had your research online and you already know what the answer is. You grew up in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt has about 774 local governments.
My argument on Twitter. You can go to my Twitter page and see.
I will.
There are several languages. So what language exactly are you talking
English. That's what we're used to. So I speak Pidgin English fluently. I've had interviews in Pidgin English and trust me, when I start, I can be that relatable when it comes to Pidgin English. But what people didn't see, because and obviously it's a show for 45 minutes, but that 45 minutes is 10 to 12 hours of filming.
You think it was scripted, though? People say it's scripted. Do you think it's scripted?
Oh, who says it's scripted? Look at the person that tells it's scripted. It's scripted when it doesn't go your way. But other seasons, it wasn't scripted.
Because it went your way.
Because what change does, and I believe I was a change this season, what change does is it pushes folks and makes them uncomfortable. And when you're different, that's where the fake comes in. Because they're not used to someone who, would not reply you at every given time or will not go back and forth with you. And then you become fake. Or you're poised, you become fake. Or people are arguing and you're just like, is this it? Or I have my son at home, I'm out. Someone is telling you who you are. And I'm here. And I'm like, okay, since you've gone to the University of Faith, Morey, and write your exam while I'm home. So
I love that.
Yes, I don't know how to speak I'm not fluent in my language, but I can hear one or two things. And what people didn't get to see is, the lady who had the event that day said she had put in a paper for everyone how she relates to them. And it has to be in your native language.
Wow.
My native language is not Pidgin English. My native language is Ikwere. So I know what Enya is. And if you notice, I was on my phone. I was trying to Google. Ikwere doesn't have... and because it's not... So it broke my heart. And I felt so bad because my manager is also from Ikwere. And I said, I need to learn this before the reunion because I need to say it in my language. And she couldn't say it either. We had to call someone older. I will never forget that parable because it was a warning. You never use pepper to make medicine for the eyes. And Enya was the only thing I knew how to say. If I did that, it would have brought up another, So at that point, I was like, okay, they're calling me fake already. They did this on purpose because they wanted this, embarrassment to come out of it. So, all right, take whatever it is. I know people are like me back home that would, defend me. And when it came up that episode, I'm sure
a lot of people did. You have an army. Well, I don't know if you know.
I do have a country full of people.
Yeah, I saw the whole Ask Faith Morey thing. I was like, that's a lot of people participating in that.
Because, people are tired of people calling us certain names or putting us in a box. And if you see me on social media, which I don't blame them, I always say, I said, people have a lot of misconception about me before they meet me. You expect this bitchy girl, you expect this girl that's, flirty. I say, you can't order for a club girl and get fake more. This is me. So what you ordered for is what you got, So yeah. I'm so glad for folks that, we're not afraid or we're not scared to defend me and, stand by me.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, particular people are
they're behind you.
Yeah. But
we saw a lot of threats on Twitter.
Wait. But you notice whenever I made a mistake and called Port Harcourt a small town, they came for me. I said, see, sisters and brothers, don't be offended. It was my first diary section. I was so shy. I was so nervous. So I made a mistake.
From a small town.
Yeah, and I'm from a small town called Ikwere, not Port Harcourt.
It's your own community.
Yeah,
It's a simple, honest mistake.
So they're not biased. I said that because I wanted to tell you they're not biased. They came for me until I said, my people, one woman I know this. Yeah, I'm mistaken.
I like your picture. I like your picture. So the one thing about diary sessions, you're known for your props. Please, where did you get a giant glass cup, please? Where did you get a giant... Where did you get insecticide from?
Oh, God.
Because I was like... It made it funny. I feel like it made you a lot more relatable, animated. Slip, you're dead.
Okay, because I don't talk. I try not to talk a lot. I like to listen. I like to study people, my environment, which is one thing I always tell people, people expected me the minute I jumped in, I was going to be in Patakwari Jaga Jaga.
Okay, I tried to take over from the queen of the season. Heard that a lot.
Okay. I didn't see any crown. If there was a crown, they won't bring me all the way from LA. So yeah, by the way.
I love when you get sassy. I'm not even going to lie. I love it. I love it.
The glass was actually a friend of mine's idea. She was like, Faith, you like to drink wine, and you don't like talking a lot. So when things you don't want to talk about, just sip the glass, And then the insecticide came from, I didn't want to give, who, his 5 minutes of fame. So if I say he's dead to me, people will say I'm trying to kill him.
Yeah.
So, I had just one movement to identify what the relationship is. And, everybody knows if it fits a mosquito. Well, why are you saying the mosquito? You're always making that annoying noise.
In your ear.
Child, yeah.
I love when you get sassy. But I feel like that's a little bit of your query side.
Yes, it
jumping out, yeah.
It is. When I talk, so this is you notice when I get upset, I'll be like, I always call my name. And most people didn't know, I'm like, Faith Morey. It's a reminder of who I am. Like, don't let the other side come out. This is you now. Or you hear me say child. That's me indirectly telling you that I'm not about to school you. You're a kid, or I'm like, yo, darling. Yeah. Like, it's an easy way for you to tell people things, without coming in at
Like
rude.
pouncing on them.
Yeah, and it just like you're shouting and like, okay, darling, just so you know, that will not work. You trying to threaten me? I've seen more than you people jumping around.
Yeah, you said
grew
that.
up in Job. You know what Job looks like. It's a war zone, so that does scare me. Just so we know.
All right. So just to wrap it up, because we're losing lights already.
Okay.
What is next for Faith Morey? Should I expect to see you in a blockbuster? Should I see you in a movie sometime? More reality TV shows?
Okay. Shout out to Showmax, first of all, because you guys did this for me. I
like, just before you go, I like how appreciative you are, because a lot of people tend to be like, oh, I don't need the show. Try to brush it aside. I've heard it a lot of times.
Yeah, who knew them before the show?
I don't have theory. I wanted to suit my own, but
I said earlier, like I was already known in Nigeria, but that was like 10,
I knew you before
13
the Real
years.
Housewives.
Do you get what I mean? But not this much publicity, not this much exposure. Like I go to the airport right now and you have folks trying to help me because of the Real Housewife. But like, oh my God, thank you, you know. So can we try not to play down folks who gave us what we are and what we have and who we are now, the platform. Because that's not right. You know what I mean? So anyway, they'll be all right.
They'll be fine.
Let's see when they leave the housewife, who's going to know them, 5 years from now. So for now, what I'm working on is, I said on the show, I work for a solo company called Some Power, and we're working on a couple of projects. Thank you, Jesus, in Abuja right now. But also I kickstarted 6 months ago with a platform I had, a charity in honor of my late grandma called For Charity Okachi. And practically we're working with public schools. Right now we have 3 public schools. One, we are renovating the nursery school wing, buying uniform for all the schools and sandals, back to school, paying tuitions, also paying teachers that have not been paid for over 8 years. Because at the end of the day, I have only one kid, and these teachers have to deal with multiple kids that are not their kid. We have to give them prop where it's given. So also we're trying to go out there to ask for like funds now, because there's more we can do. I decided to start with use my money just to show people that, if only one person can do this, like how $100 can go a long way for one kid. That's a school uniform, a sandal, and a back to school pack, and probably lunch here and there. So what's more is for me to, expand, for Charity Okachi to work not just in Port Harcourt, other places, Lagos, Abuja, the north, the east, just spread my wings. Also, the Reasonable Energy is a big, platform also. So we're getting there. Entertainment would wait for now, to be honest, because I was all about movie until I went down to PH, hands-on, to embark on this journey. So for TV shows, I'm not going to say no. Because I know I have more.
You're made for the big screen.
Thank you. I know I have more. Imagine, if I was doing this before the Real Housewife, and the Real Housewife followed us down to Port Harcourt, and people get to see this. So I know that I still need the platform in some way or the other to show people how they can contribute to, the society, their community, and to themselves too. So I'm not going to say no on reality show, but what show? I don't know. That's one thing I'm going to say.
Mob wives.
I'm not going to marry a mob, though. The mob wives have a mob. There are other stuff, out there. So So I'm not going to close the door to TV because it made who Faith is today. So, yeah.
I had an amazing time talking with you. You're very poised. When we walked in, I was very intimidated. I'm not going to lie.
Was it why you were quiet?
I'm very quiet. I was like, let me restrict myself.
No.
I'm not going to jabble. But you're very warm, very easy to talk to. You're a star, basically. That's basically. I'm sure a lot of girls look up to you, and I can tell that you want to touch lives. And that is something very remarkable, because a lot of people have selfish reasons for a lot of things, which is fine.
It is fine.
It is fine, but it's good to know that there is also a higher purpose, so to say. It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, right, I look at it this way. In my journey of being who I am, earlier from Port Harcourt, you had a kid called Russo that would give me his lunch.
Oh.
Or you had like a pastor's kid that would, provide somewhere to stay when it's meet and break and I was scared of going back home.
Yeah.
Or the photographers that would tell me, don't worry, you're going to pay me one day. Or the friend that taught me how to catwalk because I was very tomboyish, so it would be selfish of me to actually, hold all this out, when I can actually share, because a lot of people actually did help me. So yeah, my star, it's beyond, my hometown and beyond just me. I believe I was brought to this world for a purpose, and I hope God will continue to use me in the best way He can.
Amen. Amen. So, one question I forgot to ask: what should we expect from the reunion? First of all, have you shot it? Have they shot it? I don't think so.
The reunion has been shot. For the reason it's not out, we don't know yet.
Okay.
So
what should we expect from Faith Morey? Hopefully, you drag somebody.
Okay, so the thing is, a lot of people were wondering why certain things, you guys have to remember, you are watching the show as much as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Like the part where my outfit was stepped on 3 times. I didn't see it the first 2 times because I was talking to somebody else. The second time was when they made a noise. I was like, no. You see me, react. The diary sections, we're not in each other's diary section. We don't know what is being said.
Yeah.
And you can tell a lot of friends are fighting each other because they said shit about their friends, and they were acting all cozy in person when they met, So I didn't see, a couple of the housewife meetings and the things they said about me. So you get to hear me address such things like, hey, why will you say that? You can't read me. Yeah, I'm not a book. Go read a book. So things like that you get to see. You get to
can't
see.
Read me. Go read a book.
Yeah, like we're fighting for the crown. I'm not fighting. I'm not sweating. So you're the one sweating. So I'm just being me. And if me threatens anyone, good luck to you. You don't have a surgery for you to make you taller. This is God given. So yeah.
Ooh.
So you see a lot of that.
Such imaginarity.
No, but I know people were saying your glass needed a table. That glass wasn't there. We didn't bring props because we wanted to be able to touch on every questions that the housewives, and also the cup could be used as a weapon. So you don't want that too.
Exactly. Hey. All right, guys. That is all we can have on today's episode of Pulse on the Record. I remain Elvis Christian here with the beautiful Faith Morey.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.